remove some stressors that deplete your energy and how to restore your energy so that you can make new cells and recharge your system. Okay? And those are the topics we're going to talk about. So, buckle your seatbelt. So this is what OSA is. It first came out in 1993 in a paper published in the Journal of American Medical Association. High blood pressure is in half of sleep apnea cases. Okay? So heart disease, diabetes, reflux, lower immunity. You think that's related to cancer? Yeah. How do you get better immunity? Sleep. Right. God empowers us through sleep. Okay? And if you don't, you're going to have a bunch of problems. Death from heart attack is linearly correlated to how your sleep test score is. The higher your sleep test score, the more likely you're going to die from heart disease. I mean, it's that simple, right? You don't have oxygen, you're going to what? It's that simple. Now, sleep disorder breathing is another term for sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is associated with increased cancer mortality. That means two women with the same cancer, two men with the same cancer, the one with the more sleep apnea and lower oxygen is going to die by a factor of 2 if you have moderate sleep apnea, by a factor of almost 5 if you have severe sleep apnea. It's a low oxygen disease. This is the problem. This is a CT scan. So this is a center slice down my head. Here's a cross section. This is the upper front teeth, lower front teeth. Here are the lips. The nose got cut off here so that we can see the tongue. And here's the nose. The air enters here and comes out here. Where is the problem? Huh? Zone 3 is the problem. Right. Okay? So what medicine does is blow high pressure air through that called what? CPAP. Okay? We're trying to find a new, better solution that's more foundational. So you don't have to travel with a mask. So the way you determine that is through a sleep test. So how many times you stop breathing per hour? So everybody sit up straight. I'm going to walk you through this experience called apnea. If you have to quit before I count to 11, fine. But we're going to count to 11 seconds. Okay? Slow breath in, slow breath out. When I tell you to, I want you to zip your lips and pinch your nose. Slow breath in, slow breath out. No, don't do a big breath.
Oh, no? Okay.
Regular breath. Inhale, exhale. Zip. Are you glad to get that breath back? What happens if you don't? Your body just experienced an apnea event. Absence of breathing for 10 seconds or longer. Okay? It's insufferable. So some people get it 30 times an hour or more, in which case they need resuscitation by a machine. I agree. But what happens if you chronically just have 30 times per hour? Like that means every other 10 minutes. This is considered moderate. Okay? Then you can treat it with an oral appliance. It's a new solution. So there's a lot of problem with this thing, even though it's considered a gold standard. I think it's really a gold-plated standard, not a gold standard. Okay? So it's highly rejected, so how could it be a gold standard? Patients take that. All right, but the treatment that we're offering that's more foundational, it will fix pain without painkillers. It'll bring a glow on your face. using some cases. Okay? Here's an example of someone who has to wear a CPAP mask. You can tell she's not happy. Okay? There's no glove. All right? This one, she doesn't have to rip the mask off her face anymore. And this is 1 week after she suffered from 20 years of depression. It's amazing what a breath of oxygen can do to your system. So Dr. Singh is my mentor, and he's the inspiration of this new solution, new paradigm shift. It says that if you have 7 to 10 millimeters narrowing your jaw length and width, you're gonna have sleep. Okay? So what do you do now? Well, he invented a new appliance that can redevelop the jaws. Now you do not have a tongue that's forcing to the throat because the jaws are too small. Here's the upper jaw, here's the lower jaw. This is the home office for the tongue. What happens when the jaws are too small? I stretch this space. That's how zone 3 becomes the problem. Okay? So what Dr. Singh shows is that you can use this appliance, take an airway that was 13 cc before, and then expand it to 22. Okay? This was way back in 2011. And the reason for that is because there are stem cells in the 2 sockets, and in the jaw joint, and in the sutures, that's the attachment joints where the upper jaw is connected to the rest of the face. There are stem cells that we can activate. This is the bone. This is the mid-face. This is where beauty is. This is where handsome comes from. Okay? When you have deficient maxilla, this is what you look like. Okay? But if you know what to do, you can make this kind of a result. Okay? Because we're developing the maxilla, not advancing the neck. Using this device. So the concept is called craniofacial epigenetics. Big term. Cranial means skull. Facial means the mid-face, upper and lower jaw. Okay? Epi means in addition to. Epigenetics is the bodily changes without changing the patient's own genes. In other words, we bring out a better version of yourself. Using these appliances to activate your genes to correct and straighten jaws, teeth, soft tissue, and functional spaces, which we won't get into heavily. And then this is done painlessly. Okay, so we put this 67-year-old lady through this treatment using this expander, and contrary to popular belief, the earth is no longer flat. You can do this on adults, and you can do it regardless of age. I'll show you my own case shortly. So, this is phase 1 orthopedics, this is phase 2 orthodontics. Orthopedics, bone to bone, orthodontics, tooth to tooth. Is this a better version of herself? Get more real estate for the lipsticks now. Okay, and her knee and shoulder pain went away. And along the way, we increased her airway volume by 46% in 10 months. 67 years old. Okay, so you can sleep a lot better. So how you read this is that the color scale on the white end is wide open, like a 6-lane highway. The more the airway goes in this direction of red, or even black, the more it narrows down to country road. Okay? So it took me 4 years, closer to 5, before I found a specimen that has a wide open airway. It came in with a wide open airway. Okay? After I got my CT scan, it took me 5 years. This patient came in. What's the difference between these two facial profiles? Look at somebody who took a lawnmower and just hacked off. Okay? When you push the jaw inward, you're going to squeeze the airway. It's that simple. Okay? He happens to be a testicular cancer patient. All right? He all started with a tongue tie. He couldn't breastfeed. Mother gave him, how do you quiet down a screaming baby? Anything. Now, what happens in the baby intestine is that the gut becomes inflamed. It's not ready to handle adult food. So he had a lot of food allergy, he had a lot of issues growing up, tonsils, adenoids, antibiotics. And then he became a grease monkey, worked at a gas station, joined the military. Lots of toxic exposure on top of a gut injury from birth as a result of tongue tie. And guess what? He ended up with testicular cancer on top of an airway like that. So I consider this the original sin. So that's his tongue, that's his face, that's his airway. Luckily he survived. We treated him, and he had a daughter when he came to me who was 4 years old, and now the daughter is 12. Still has a dad. Here's a study that shows that obstructive sleep apnea is linked to cancer, and there's a theoretical model. So intermittent hypoxia, that means what you experience. It's been implicated in increased incidence and more adverse prognosis of cancer. No oxygen, cancer. Lots of oxygen, less likely to have cancer. Can't say no. So, low oxygen increased sympathetic activity means stress. And alteration in the immune function. Alright? Oxygen powers your immune capability. So sleep fragmentation and intermittent hypoxia may promote initiation of malignant transformation, alter tumor environment, and disrupt immunosurveillance. And it will hasten tumor proliferation, increase in metastatic invasion. Do we need to know any more? No. Let's just give the oxygen to the person, okay? So deep sleep and airway without the obstruction is a key part of any cancer or indeed anti-aging wellness strategy. Make sense? Okay. So we can unify this different parts simply by promoting sleep and airway. And we agree on that? Yeah. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. And so dentists traditionally are trained to just see the 2 rows of teeth. They're very narrow viewfinders. What I'm trying to do here is just widen everybody's viewfinder to see not only the whole person, but the entire biography of the biology and the environment in which this biography took place. Okay? This includes the family environment, our food environment, and our Mother Nature environment. Sleep apnea is a big problem. Big problem that's not diagnosed. 90% diagnosed. Same researcher did their follow-up study 15 years later, still 75% diagnosed. That's going to change when the dental profession gets involved. Why? Because we've offered checkup every 6 months that the patients are used to. We can look in there. Now if you know somebody's got a face like this in profile, probably outside, they're at risk.
My husband has sleep patterns to where he can seemingly be sleeping very soundly, and then all of a sudden it's like he's strangling, and he awakens about every 20 minutes just almost in a panic, and sometimes he's able to get back to sleep, and sometimes he has to get up and kind of walk away from it, and it's concerning, and it's definitely affecting our lives and how we both feel the next day, that we are more tired when he goes through these cycles And we're very much looking forward to having healthier, happier sleep so that we can have more energy in our days. Because it's not just him who's having the effects, it's also myself, because I'm directly affected by his sleeping patterns at night. And my name is Karen, and I give him permission to utilize this video for...
That's her husband. You don't know enough to make the diagnosis, just look at it. Okay? That's the way he stands. Because his dental midlines are off, that means his upper jaw and lower jaw do not match together. We gave him this appliance to line up his midline. After a few months, 2 months, this is what he says. Oops.
Hi, my name is Dave, and I've been using Dr. Liao's oral appliance for 3.5 months. When I came to Dr. Liao, I've been suffering from back pain for most of my life. I've been to many chiropractors, nutrition specialists, and so forth, and I never really seen any kind of real relief. But now, with using this appliance, top and bottom, for 3.5 months, my mouth has expanded quite a bit. My lower teeth are no longer crowded. My airwave has opened up, at least I think the last CT scan we did, the updated one, was about 70% improvement. And my lower back pain is almost non-existent. So I give permission for Dr. Liao to...
Just said, we improved his airway 50% in 2 months. And that's him. I'm not going to play the entire video, but you can tell he's got energy and he's winning his tennis tournament. His low back pain is gone. Okay?
Hi, I'm Dave, and I've been seeing Dr. Liao now for 6 months in jaw therapy. I've been using upper and lower retainers like this, much easier to talk without it in. And when I came to Dr. Liao, I've been battling back pain for a good 25 or 30 years. My back feels much, much better. I play a lot of tennis. I used to have to wear a back brace. No more back brace. I used to have to wear knee support. No more knee support. And out there, I feel a lot sturdier. Also, I go to the Atlas chiropractor, and I've not been out on my Atlas adjustment now for over 6 months. None since I started seeing Dr. Liao. It's been a great 6 months. Thanks.
He's now quit being a lawyer, saw the light, and become a health coach. Even when he graces the cover of my book. Yeah, because that's him. So, I evolved this concept called holistic mouth. I think that, there's a specialist in almost any part of the human body, right? But there isn't one for the mouth. And that's a critical shortcoming. Because the mouth feeds the rest of the body. How can you not have a mouth doctor? Okay? So, a holistic mouth I define as someone that's structurally fit to support whole body health through these functions. Man, that's a lot of job description. The heart just has to pump. All right? You'll see. So what if the mouth is not structurally fit? All these going to get affected. You're going to have a lot of these symptoms, such as these. These are the most common symptoms people show up. Okay, and so an impaired mouth is a defective infrastructure that can still eat, drink, and talk because God is very kind to us. You can be a cripple. You can still walk, but you're going to be paying a price someplace else. How many of you have neck and shoulder pain? A lot of this is a result of your jaws and your bad bite. Okay? Here's one. Whenever you see jumbo teeth and roller coaster arrangements like this, guarantee you you're going to have pain. Okay? So that's his airway. That's his symptom. This is what he has to say after we started treating him.
Dr. Liao permission to use this video.
Okay, thank you. These are the appliances. Let's take a quick look at this. So these are DNA appliances. So tell us what your experience has been.
Been wearing the devices for 7 months, and I've had much better sleep and significant reduction in neck and shoulder back pain here.
Give me a number. So on a scale of 0 to 10,
Yep.
0 is nothing, 10 was how much it hurt you when you came in.
Okay.
Where are you now?
It was probably a 6 or 7 before. Now it's pretty much non-existent.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Okay, and what else have you noticed?
Well, certainly the much better sleep,
good.
sleep through the night,
You don't hurt. You can
and
sleep.
less pain, tightness in my jaws here, and through even the upper part of my neck, less tension.
Yes. We hear.
Okay, so what a lot of doctors and indeed all healthcare providers don't know is that in the 4th week, when the spine starts to form and when after the egg and sperm come together, and it starts multiplying geometrically in terms of duplication of number of cells. And so the line of cells that that showed up in the mid-back, it's called a neural tube cell, they eventually form the brain, the central nervous system, the pituitary gland, and guess what? The 4 upper front teeth and the bone around it. This is critical part of the central nervous system. Okay? So the mouth actually really has a huge role in the command and control center of the body. Dentists who do cosmetic dentistry have no clue. Okay? And the rest of the teeth also is part of the body's neuroregulatory system. Right? So when you have a structurally impaired mouth, you have a whole body impaired health. Healthy mouth equals healthy mouth. But most people don't understand what healthy mouth is. So here's an example, right? This is the general dentist who trained with me after she read my book, and we found out that's her airway. And we sent her for a sleep test, and 47 times a minute she experienced that. 47 times an hour. Okay? In 12 months it went down to 11 because we gave her the treatment. But more importantly, look at her arm. She was born with birth canal injury when she was being delivered. Going through dental school, she could not raise her elbow any higher than this. 3 months later, guess what? That's because this study in Japan shows that the trigeminal nerve that regulates all the mouth and the jaws, hard and soft tissue, has a systemic effect. So what they did was they took out the bite on one side of these 3 beagle dogs. Every one of them showed up lame. So they took out the bite on the lower right side, and the left leg goes lame. Okay? Such that he could not bear weight. Not only that, the dogs tear and their coats shed. So this is not just a benign thing. There's a systemic influences from the bad bite to death. And there are a lot of back pain patients in the dental office that goes undiagnosed because they're going to a tooth doctor's office rather than a mouth doctor's office. This patient has really good airway. You don't see this very often. But he had teeth taken out for braces. And this is a bipedal with non-escape. Terrible. That's why he had the back pain. We gave him this, and he said, this is my healthcare home run. Right. I'll just play the first part of this, because we don't have enough time to play everything.
Oh, the DNA, for me, the DNA appliance for the last couple years, I've been at a year now, but it's been sort of my health home run in that it's opened up my airway now. I'm breathing through my nose, so sleep is much deeper. And then that's got my jaw corrected. So now my posture, my whole spinal alignment has improved. So it's just more comfortable. So I'm noticing every few weeks you're working out, the back is better, the hip gets better. You know, little things that I didn't know were correctable or issues now.
Okay, so you originally came to see me about this root canal. What kind of implant you like? And I'm saying, how did that root canal go bad? Why did you need a root canal on that tooth in the first place, right? Drill down deeper. Go to the root cause. Find out why. So this is a problem. He was grinding on that teeth. So this work is backed by the U.S. Surgeon General, who says oral disease and condition are associated with other health problems. Okay? And I think this is like a domino. And the first one to go is what? Oxygen deficiency and misalignment of the jaws that causes poor posture and aches and pain. It's only a matter of time before some catastrophe happens. Like cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, leading causes of death that you saw in the first slide. Okay? So just to simplify that picture, this is Journal American College of Cardiologists. Cardiology is only a week 2 journal. Circulation from the American Heart Association. This one says sleep apnea is behind 50% of high blood pressure, 1/3 of heart attacks, 60% of strokes. If you survive all of that, 1/4 of congestive heart. You think oxygen is important to the heart? What's angina? You get a muscle cramp in the heart, right? And you can't. How do they treat it? They give you nitroglycerin to open up the blood vessel. Okay? And they give you pump. So how do we, as a profession that is focused on prevention, look at some clues that we can help the patient so that they're not trying to recover their health without knowing something is driving them down. Okay? So I think you really need to look at impairments early on. We need to address snoring, sleep apnea, and stuffy nose, mouth breathing, and teeth grinding. Those are our early clues that's already identified. What we can say for sure is that the better your airway, the slower your downhill slide toward aging. If you have an angel hair pasta for an airway, you're going to go downhill fast, and you're going to live a short time, and you're going to have a lousy quality of life. Like PMS, erectile dysfunction, foggy brain, obesity, back pain. Who needs it? All right? So if you can't sleep, you can't get well. So take care of your sleep. All right? This is how health goes downhill. We're born with the best of health, and then the body's endowed with this ability to fix itself. Beyond a certain point, if you don't take care of sleep and airway, the body will go into cancer, where it cannot fix itself. Cancer is a disease in which the body can't fix itself. Okay? So you need to give the body the ability to fix it. And one of them is oxygen. Airway rules. Lousy airway gives rise to heart disease and cancer. You think you need circulation to fight cancer? You bet. Okay? Sleep apnea and cancer are a new challenge. Sleep fragmentation and intermittent hypoxia promotes tumor growth and progression. Case closed. Right? So the U-turn back requires that we do an airway evaluation, do a sleep test, clean up the mouth infections. Develop a 3-foot cage that drives the tiger into the throat, drives the tongue into the throat where it turns into a tiger. Threatening tiger. Okay? Check and fix adrenals and thyroid. Restore deep sleep. That restore nasal breathing and adopt healthier eating habits. That's what it takes. This is how you get proactive. Okay? So I got into this because I was interested in teeth grinding. I was in engineering college, and it never made sense to me why the body would mutilate the hardest tissue. It took me 35 years. Finally, I found it. It's one frame in a movie. The movie is not called Teeth or Dentist. The movie is called Airway Obstruction During Sleep. The body's trying to do CPR. It's trying to pull the tongue out of the throat. So the oxygen could go past that film through obstruction. Okay? This is a night guard, what night guard looks like when people do wear it. Most of the time they don't. You think the patient is still grinding? Yeah. In my opinion, every night guard is a missed opportunity to be evaluated. That's the difference between two doctor and non-doctor. Okay? So, teeth grinding way back in the 80s, they figure out that the chips around the gum line here, which is very sensitive to tooth brushing and temperature, is a result of teeth grinding. So, this is a result of 6-foot tigers in the cage. Long-term struggle if we allow dental dentistry. You had to spend about $2,000 fixing up these cavities before you could be treated with a plan. Because he couldn't even brush his teeth. And what these studies show is that sleep, bruxism, which is a medical term for teeth grinding, is related to disturbed sleep. Okay? Taking all the evidence together, bruxism appears to be mainly regulated centrally, that means in the central nervous system, the brain, not peripherally, the mouth. Right? So that means that when you see this, you need to think of what? Choked airway, waking up the brain in the middle of the sleep. So the body has to do CPR on itself.
Hi, I'm Dr. Yvonne Petrie. I practice here in Northern Virginia, Fairfax. I live in Fairfax. This is my oral DNA appliance. I got it about 5 weeks ago. Within the first week, my neck pain went down to only when I had my appliance out. I used to live in chronic neck pain. Now after 5 weeks, my neck pain's 95% gone. I used to grind my teeth a lot, have a lot of TMJ pain. I've had TMJ pain probably for 25 years. That pain is completely gone. I'm not grinding my teeth anymore. I used to have headaches every morning about 3 or 4 days a week. Now I've had one in the last 5 weeks, so my morning headaches are gone. And I'm definitely sleeping better, waking up with more energy. Before I used to wake up in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep for hours. Now I can fall asleep much easier within 10 minutes. So I can say it's very much improved the quality of my life. I've probably sent about 15 patients over in the past month because I feel they really need it. So if you have neck pain, jaw pain, chronic chiropractic vertebrae that go out of alignment, you just can't hold them, I definitely recommend this. Also for jaw pain, Dr.
How many of you see chiropractors? How many of you have to see it over and over again? And that bite is the root cause of why the neck goes out. Chiropractors can't hold. Okay? So here's a patient who came in looking like this. And I asked her, what are your 3 wishes for fairy godmother? She said, I wish I can lose my belly fat, and I'm always exhausted. And so we gave her this appliance, and her posture changed, her weight changed naturally. She didn't change her diet any. Okay? Oops, I went the wrong way, sorry. We gave her this appliance, and her airway improved through the expander. And look at this. The glow comes back. And you can sleep. Beauty sleep, right? Sleep is beauty. So remember what she looks like before she starts.
Hi, my name is Stacy Kaufman. I'm a patient of Dr. Liao's, and I give him permission to share this information with his patients and other doctors, anyone that this might help. I have been seeing Dr. Liao for 3 months, and I have been wearing this upper appliance, which is a DNA appliance. And at first, I was not very excited about wearing this, but I have grown to actually love this thing and rely on it because it is helping me improve my health. Some of my health benefits that I have noticed, and my partner, Joe Kaushi, has noticed, are that I am sleeping through the night. I'm actually dreaming. I have dreams, vivid dreams every single night, and I wake up feeling refreshed. I also can concentrate more during the day, and I have great energy throughout the day, including the afternoon. So this has been nothing but a positive thing for me, and it's only 3 months into the game, and I'm very excited to see the end result. Dr. Liao has also taught me how to breathe through my nose. I no longer have to use any of my steroid medications, my Sudafed, my Allegra, any of those. I no longer get sinus infections. I no longer feel the need to breathe through my mouth to get air. That panic feeling is just gone. It's no longer within me. I feel a lot more comfortable breathing through my nose and just being able to relax on a daily basis.
Okay, so I just want to skip ahead and show you how treating the maxilla, the upper jaw, also affects the nasal cavity. Okay, so this is something I learned from Dr. Singh. This is called the upper airway. The part below your voice box is called the lower airway. Okay, the lower airway is ringed with cartilage, so they never collapses. But the upper airway, the nose could get obstruction. This is the part behind the soft palate called the nasopharynx. Zone 3 is called oropharynx, right behind the tongue. And so when you have a 3-foot cage, the tongue ends up being shoved into the airway, so the zone 3 is narrow. When the upper jaw set back into the face, zone 2 is narrow. And when you eat the wrong things, zone 1 is obstructed. Okay, these all matter. Okay? And so dental medicine, what I call a mouth doctor, is a diagnostician of all 4 zones. It's all my business. Okay? So when you have a narrow upper jaw, you're going to have tiny nostrils. And if you eat the wrong food, those nostrils will block up. So here's a healthy nasal airway. Blackest air, grace tissue, you have lots of room. Airway corridor to deliver oxygen. Here, guess what? It's all obstructed. Okay? This is a narrow palate. When you widen this in with the expansion, the black will increase. Okay? So, here's how you can tell that you need expansion. Really easy. Watch this part here of the nose.
So go ahead and take a
That's her.
big breath through your nose. Hard and fast.
You got tiny nostrils.
You're ready, exhale. Now do that again. Ready. Next time, do it even faster.
See that? Collapse. Just go check it out yourself. Okay, when you have that, your upper jaw's swelling up. And you got stuff in there. So now what do?
After my first adjustment, then that's when I didn't have to get up in the middle of the night. After about my 4th adjustment, my nose opened up and I could breathe a lot better. It was like this expansion was just amazing.
So now everybody sit up straight. I want you to Breathe through your nose once. Just feel how much air gets in. Don't do a big yoga breath, just inhale. Now I want you to take the index finger, put on either side of your nasal wing, and just spread it sideways a little. No, close your lips. Close your lips first. Now you spread it apart. Now you breathe in. You can pull apart now. Put your finger right next to the nasal valve. Now take it off and breathe. There's a big difference, right? So if I increase you 20% here, I increase 2 times the volume going through your nose. Okay? So in case you missed it the first time, here it is again. That's his nose. And here. So it's important that you can breathe through your nose for a lot of reasons.
Inhale
It
like
takes
you're
fewer
snoring.
cold.
Thank you.
Number 2, nitrous oxide is produced in the nose when you breathe, rather than the mouth. Number 3, you don't catch tonsillitis. Okay. Number 4, you're just more comfortable. I'm going to tell you now, if you don't eat healthy, you're going to have nose problems. You're going to have sinus problems. If you eat sugar, dairy, wheat, anything that comes in a box, you're going to have nasal problems. So, when I go out, I do not order chicken. You should read this book, Big Chicken. It's like Big Pharma. Okay? Hormones, antibiotics, you need anything extra, just do it. You want to grow breasts in men, eat just chicken. Easy. Okay? Fast food scorecard, antibiotic use and beef supply. Our fast food chains are so guilty. You can't live on this. Okay. The only one that passes great is Panera and Chipotle. Leaky brain comes from leaky gut. Leaky gut leads to leaky brain. Very simple. Gut-brain axis. Your gut bacteria and your central nervous system. They're all connected. So what you eat determines your gut bacteria. And therefore it determines how leaky your gut is. There's this condition called food sensitivity. It's different from peanut allergies, I can tell you. This one just stuffs up your nose, inflames your gut, bogs up your brain, and makes you miserable. So eat the raw foods, okay? You pay the price. Nothing to sneeze at. 60% of the population know they must avoid something. I'm telling you, in America, the food manufacturers have hampered with our food. After that. Lots of symptoms from food sensitivity. Okay? Anything from runny nose to dark circles to upset stomach to irritable bowel syndrome to bronchitis, celiac disease. I mean, this is the thing that drives the patients to the doctor's office, the emergency room, right? How don't you succeed that? Okay? When this is leaky here, can you imagine if your skin is leaky, what happens? The soap and the water gets underneath, the air pollution gets underneath, your cosmetic gets inside, you have no protection. Same thing with a leaky gut, you have no protection from what you're taking. So the only way to test is called a food inflammation test. You can figure out what you're sensitive to. 10 drops of blood measures 132 foods. Okay? So you learn how to see what happens when the outside of the face is telling you what the airway might look like underneath. Okay? It's called Laos signs. When you look at a patient in profile, if the upper lip drops straight down, or worse yet, it's curled. That means it's collapsed. It's worse. These are twins. She had teeth taken out? She did not. You decide which face you like. Alright? This is what we all should look like regardless of our ethnic heritage, where we come from, where our ancestors came from. Room for all the teeth to line up straight. High cheekbones and spontaneous growth. And guess what their nostrils are like? Wide open. Okay? So, if you have wide dental arches, you can have straight teeth, and everything in your body can look flat. If you have narrow jaws, and you have crooked teeth as a result, everything else is going to pay a price. Because the root is, the mouth is to the human body what roots are to plants. This is our foundation. We grow actually from the mouth down. Look at a baby who's newborn. Okay? He couldn't even hold up his head, but he could suck with the other eye. And between sleeping and feeding, he grew. That's how every one of us got here. So what happens when your jaw's too small and you have crowded teeth? Your tongue gets squeezed. You get toothprints on the side of the tongue. And this is being shown to be 70% specific for sleep apnea. And when you have that, your sleep efficiency will drop 14%. That means out of 8 hours, you lose 1 hour of sleep by the time you stay in bed. Your body is actually not asleep because of it. You see this all the time once you start looking at it. Okay? Here's a simple study from Spain. What if you don't have a CT scan? Hey, how are you doing? So, what if you don't have a CT scan? What if somebody asks you at a cocktail party, hey, am I at risk? Well, you can just look at the uvula. There's soft tissue projection in the end and the soft palate. Okay? When you can see the uvula when the patient opens the mouth with the tongue inside the lower jaw, just like you say when you go to the dentist, then you have low risk. But if only the soft palate is visible, or only the hard palate is visible, you can't see the uvula, then the patient's at high risk. Yeah. Okay? And you can see these people all have crowded lower front teeth. Another indication. Okay? What are you going to do with this kid? That's his tongue. He's got an 8-foot type already. He's already obese because the mother is hypothyroid. I shook mom's hand. Ice cold. Okay? Low metabolism is a consequence of hypothyroid. Not only that, when you're hypothyroid, your tongue will become swollen. Your belly will become swollen. Your legs will become swollen. You're like a Michelin man or Michelin woman. Everything's puffy. This calf and this calf's different. How? One is hypothyroid and one is not. The one with the taper happens to be mine. This is a hygienist in Houston, where it's a land-based culture in Texas, cow culture. And she never ate any seafood in her life. There's another hypothyroid tongue. Okay? You will always find that these people have a certain build. And so, Dr. Jerry Tennant wrote a book called Healing is Voltage. What's voltage? Electrical energy, right? Well, it turns out that the self-membrane that separates the inside and the outside, or your skin that separates the external environment to the internal environment, is mediated by voltage. Okay? The membranes are semi-permeable. It means that it will take in something selectively. Under the right circumstance, that it will squeeze something, toxins and waste, selectively. Okay? What supplies the energy to the body? Food, oxygen. Once that gets in, it's your thyroid and your adrenals. So your body, your health is like this cart. It's run by two horses. One horse is named thyroid, the other one is named adrenal. Okay? The first horse to go down is thyroid. Okay? You're not going anywhere when adrenal also goes. Okay? So this is where we come in. Airway and sleep and food. So, speaking of growing new eyes, this is how the brain is wired. This is the number of neurons devoted to each part of the body. Like House of Representatives, representing the population across the country. Okay? So you can see the number of neurons devoted to the hands and the mouth. The body is hardwired for this. So right. Okay? And the eyes can simply support that. If you think about the heart, it doesn't even rank. Sex, not nearly as big as you think. Okay? So the mouth is a major organ of stress. A lot of the stress behavior shows up right here. Here's the ultimate stress. When you get eaten, you disappear. So this guy won the Wildlife Photographer of the Year this year. This is a fox. This one just came out of hibernation. Can you imagine the adrenaline surge?
Yes.
And then you're gone. Well, why do I show you this?
Because he just had a hypoxic event.
You're close. But we can have acute stress in our life that we think is threatening to kill us. Okay? And if you think that thought all the time, every day, and then every night you have choked airway, what's going to happen? Your adrenals are going to get taxed. Okay, so it'll rise to the occasion, deal with it, and if you keep it up, you don't fix the choked airway, you don't fix the racing thoughts, gun to the head ideas, now your system is going to get exhausted. And now you're going to fall below this baseline where you cannot recover. And a lot of chronically ill patients are either here or here. This is 1 foot in the grave, right here. Okay? So how do you get your energy? Sleep, airway, food. That's it. And we hope your adrenal and your thyroid are working. So, when you only have stress, it leads to sympathetic dominance. You'll have inflammation and degeneration that will lead to heart attack. Right? You have to have parasympathetic rest. So, fight or flight, or rest and restore. How many of you wake up feeling refreshed every day of the week? How many of you wake up feeling refreshed? 1 day a week. 2, 3. All right? A lot of my patients never wake up feeling refreshed for 30 years. Guess where they are? Here. They're heading toward 1 foot in the grave. Okay? We need to resuscitate these people. Sleep is actually a very busy time. On the surface, it looks like nothing. Look at your child sleeping, look at your sleep partner sleeping. On the surface, it looks like everything is quiet. But underneath, the maintenance crew is very busy. You know that because as soon as you miss any sleep, you're going to feel it, right? Okay, so growth hormones released only in deep sleep. Growth in kids, repairs in adults only in deep sleep. Whether you're awake or not, it's mediated by a neurotransmitter called histamine. And whether you feel good or not is mediated by serotonin. These all get made when you rest. You ever have patients who come in who are hostile for no good reason? Chip on the shoulder. Yeah. Okay. So memory, like if you get a bad night's sleep tonight, you won't remember half of what I said. Okay. Waste in the morning, immune boost. How are you going to recover? What does grandma tell you when you have a cold? Bad. Sleep. But there's a predator. What is that? You gotta have a wide open eye. Okay? So this happens so often that about 1/4 of new homes being built now have two master bedrooms. Okay? And when you go to work and you're surrounded by traffic, these people have 15 times the risk of traffic accidents if they have moderate severe sleep. So, not a single one of these symptoms gives a definitive diagnosis of adrenal fatigue, but taken together, it's a syndrome. It suggests a presence. These are factors affecting the adrenals. Practically everything we face in life. What do you put your body through every day on this hamster wheel before you collapse? Okay? So 80% of Americans suffer from some form of adrenal fatigue. So I think this is a good one. Stress, it could be physical, emotional, environmental, resident toxins like mercury amalgams and root canal infections. Every organ system is affected. So sex drive, weight, fluid retention, heart. And medicine doesn't recognize adrenal fatigue. They only recognize extreme adrenal fatigue or average instances. But you know, if you're 5, 10, 20, 50 degrees off, it doesn't exist. I see a lot of patients with this. Okay. So the causes for adrenal fatigue, Dr. James Wilson, the author of the book, lists it here. And I just turn this and look at the oral contribution to adrenal fatigue. Everything from junk food diet to sugar addiction to frequent eating out, alcoholism, bad light, TMJ, it's all there. Dr. Dietrich Funkar says most of your chronic illness and degeneration, 80% of them between the clavicle and the scalp. Guess what's right smack in the middle? So, cortisol level is a common measure of stress, and stress is cumulative. Okay? Stress could be very intense, like you're facing death every night. Or it could be mild. Oh, I gotta get this. Oh, I gotta get that. I gotta just step out. I got that bottom line. And they build up. And the body doesn't really make it. It doesn't care. It just knows that it has to put out cortisols. So some of the resident stressors are root canal infections, choked airway from deficient jaws, and poor sleep. So I'm going to show you an example of what happens and how to reverse this. So sympathetic nervous system is in charge of fight or flight. That's what happens to us during the day, right? We burn the gasoline and we put on the oxidative stress. Rust our body in the process. So at night, you activate the parasympathetics, you sleep mainly, and you give your body a chance to stand down and repair and recharge. Okay, that's called a parasympathetic. So why do people eat when they're stressed? They're trying to activate their parasympathetics. Digestion is a parasympathetic function. So if you eat on the fly, or you're under stress, or you're under worry, you just sit there. Okay? So this is a patient of mine who came from Catalan region of Spain. I quoted her in my first book. She says, our diet is rich in fruits and vegetables, eaten in season only. We ate lots of fish and lamb that's never had any injections. Our way of life is a light breakfast between 7 and 9 p.m., a full lunch between 1 and 3 p.m. with a 20-minute siesta. When was the last time you had a siesta? That's a major parasympathetic period in the middle of the day. Light dinner between 7 and 9. In bed by midnight. The average lifespan is 95 to 100. And they have a relatively low cost of healthcare. Right? This is your best life insurance, health insurance. Okay? So there's a study that shows that fatal cardiovascular risk reduces between 67 to 83%. If you would do these 4 things, plus sleep 7 hours or more. What are the 4 things? Not smoking. Moderate alcohol. That means 2 drinks a week for men, 1 drink for women. Not every day. Exercise half an hour each day. Eat a Mediterranean-like diet. And then, by the way, Mediterranean diet is not just an ingredient, it's also the atmosphere. It's a speed. It's a feel. Okay? So, if you do that, if you do just these 4 things, you have a 67% reduction in your fatal cardiovascular. But if you would sleep more than 7 hours, you will reduce the cardiovascular disease by 80%. Your choice. Okay? This is my own case. I took my own airway from 13.1 cc before treatment to after treatment, which is 28.2. This is how you retire now. This is your true health insurance policy. So your body can renew itself every night through sleep. Intermittent hypoxia, which we talked about earlier. Sympathetic, parasympathetic system out of balance. And this is how you drive your body toward cancer. We talked about this already. I want to talk about insomnia and infection. Herpes. How many of you get herpes? Your patient will come in with herpes. Okay? Herpes is not a small thing. We're told in dental school that herpes virus lives in your trigeminal nerve tract, right? Well, when does it come up? Stress. How about if you have choked episodes night after night, so your body is facing death? Do you think it's stress? So a lot of people are prone to this. And not only that, they've linked this to a significant etiological factor in Alzheimer's. And not only that, if you and I both were twins, we have the same Alzheimer's, and I get herpes, you don't. I have 2.5 times the risk of getting Alzheimer's gene expressed, meaning getting Alzheimer's. Okay? So, this is a big deal. If you want to avoid Alzheimer's, which is now the most expensive medical diagnosis, you basically need to be babysit the rest of your life. So, infections. How about cold and flu? Wearing this would help the patient's cold and flu.
Alright, so in addition to the neck pain going down from about 8 out of 10 down to 1 out of 10, I got a significant boost in my immune system. I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, so there's always germs and people coming and getting sick. So every time the girls were sick, most definitely I always got it, even if I wash my hands or try to avoid eating after them. And usually I would hang on to a cold for about 2 weeks with significant, intense symptoms. And I most recently got the flu, and it was only 3 days, and it just felt like a cold. I only took like Dayquil, and that was enough for me to continue going back to work and go to bed at 8 o'clock, and I felt fine, which for me, last year, When I got the flu, I was out for a week. I vomited at work and had to leave early.
I remember you told me that.
Yes, it was very bad, and the stiffness. I was in bed all week, so
this time,
this
how
is
many
very
days out
good.
of work did you have?
No days out of work.
No days out of work.
No days out of work. Just 3 days of taking cold medicine and going to bed early.
Good for you.
And every month I used to get sick last year, and this time it's just been, once so far probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's good.
You get better as long as your sleep is improving.
There's definitely, yes.
So remember, she says going to bed early. That's really important to remember. We'll cover that shortly. But I want to share this with you about the infection part. So cold and flu is an infection, and it comes up only because the host resistance is down. And how does the host resistance go down? Chronic stress and not having enough sleep, right? Okay, so the Journal American Dental Association published a study based on the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute community survey. And they found that people who's got 2 or more root canals have 62% higher risk of getting coronary heart disease. Okay, so your teeth are affected, will affect your cardiovascular system. The root canal specialists, they just look at this picture, this tooth, and say, okay, the tooth's not in pain anymore, it's not a problem. Well, we look at how the whole body gets affected by this. Cancer metastasizes, so does root canal. Is that news to you guys? It is. Okay. Why? Because root canal anatomies are extremely complex. It's like a fountain spray, like branches of a tree. Water comes in from the bottom of the trunk and then sprays out. This terminal end is like spider web. There's no way that technology can clean this up 100%. Now you're stuck with microbes that's got niches to hide out from the immune system like terrorists. And this is a microscopic close-up to show that these side channels can lead to bacterial infections. That infection, no dentist can stop. We have an expert in the back of the room who has championed this condition for years, for all his career. Dr. Carlson, please stand up. He's from Hawaii. Yeah. All right. Great to have you. So there's a study that's published in Circulation, another journal that cardiologists read. Bacteria DNA 16 times higher in coronary thrombi than blood samples. Okay? That means that people who have heart disease, 78% of the thrombi has bacterial DNA, mostly strep viridis. Strep viridis is found only in the mouth. Okay? 35% of them has periodontal pathogens. The odds ratio is 13.2, linking periodontal and root canal infection to heart attack clots. So the conclusion was dental infections and oral bacteria, especially this strain, streps, may be associated with developmental acute coronary thrombosis, heart attacks from mouth infection. Circulation. Okay? Every tooth is on an acupuncture meridian, which is like an energy circuit, electrical circuit. Okay? Remember we said the thyroid force slides down? Well, the thyroid is on the stomach meridian. So you root canal on these teeth, you're going to short circuit your thyroid. Adrenals are in your kidney bladder meridian. So the way you measure heart rate variability is a way to measure how, here's top of health, here's 1 foot in the coffin. This is how you go downhill. Okay? This happens to be my own case. 2 weeks ago, I went to, this is in September, I went and get evaluated. I was planning a procedure, and I found out, wow, much to my surprise, I've depleted my nerves. I worked too hard. All right. So I planned this procedure called jaw cavitation. This is an area of stagnation. In Chinese medicine, we say that when the river flows, the water is clear. What happens when it doesn't flow? Murky. Murky? What's in the murk? All kinds of stuff. All right? So that's what this is. It's an area of not healed place where the teeth were taken out. So after this got cleaned out, I want to show you what happened. This is the next day. And this and then and then after. Okay? So infection really matters a lot to the body. I went from down here to up there. This is the ideal zone where your sympathetics and parasympathetics are in balance. So this is how you go back up this way. I'm not. Of course, in the meantime, I'm watching my nutrition. I'm cutting out the sugar. I'm cutting out the coffee. And I am sleeping more. You ever had to power through? How often? How long? Okay? And how about the patient who comes to see you? People with radio fatigue often look and act relatively normal. They often use coffee, colas, and other stimulants, get going in the morning, and then pop themselves up during the day. Dark chocolate. Okay, this works.
My name is Tricia McKenna, and I've had the dental appliance in for about 6.5 months. And noticed some definite improvements in my overall health. For one thing, it's easier to floss, and it's also, my jaw is less tense, and the most important thing I've noticed is that I have a lot more energy during the day. I have 5 children, and it was very hard to keep up with them. I was always exhausted and sleepy during the day, and I'm no longer desperate for a nap all day, every day. And my kids don't know.
She's got 5 kids. She's no longer desperate for a nap. That's what she's saying. Sorry about the audio. It's noisy out there. So, you need to sleep in order to recover your energy and recharge. Okay? So, this is why you need to go to bed early. From 11 p.m. on, you need to be asleep somewhere between 9 and 11 p.m. for each reason. Gallbladder, liver, lung, large intestine, stomach. This block of time is your parasympathetic hour. Okay? Triple warmer is the immune system. Gallbladder and liver are detox. Lung is for what? Sleep apnea. Or oxygenation, depending on whether you have a 6-foot tiger in a 3-foot cage. Okay? The large intestine is in charge of waste removal. Okay? When the body is able to spend time detoxing, now the large intestine collects all the waste, move it out when you get up in the morning, and eat breakfast between 7 and 9, and you're ready for the day. This is the circadian rhythm. This is the biological clock. You violate that by staying up and surfing the internet, and you just harm your liver. Without which you can't live, without which you have brain fog, weight issues, and immune issues, and make sense? Okay, so difficulty sleeping is a risk factor for depression and anxiety. So if you can't sleep, you're going to tax your adrenals. And you're going to bring in new problems. Okay? Harvard Sleep Health Center. People with sleep problems are at risk for emotional disorders. Insomnia leads to 10 times the risk for anxiety and Or 20 times for anxiety and 10 times for depression. Here he is, a patient. Clean teeth. 3 wishes are to the fairy godmother, I wish I didn't have anxiety, I have fatigue, and then more room for my tongue in my mouth, and then I have acceptance. That's where she hurt, that's her neck. I'm telling you, every neck pain is got a oral contribution from jaw misalignment. That's her bite. For those of you with their eyes, this is a V-shaped arch, and that's never wide enough for the lower jaw to fit in. That's her airway. That's her nasal obstruction. We did our homework. Gave her the appliances. Here's what she has to say.
My name is Christy. I can talk a little bit with these in, like obviously talk better with them out, but
You can take them out.
okay.
Show it to the camera what they look like.
Alright, that's the bottom.
That's the bottom one.
That's the top one.
And show the upside down.
Oh.
Inside. Good.
So,
Alright, that's a DNA appliance.
okay.
Okay.
So I've been using them for about 2 months, 2.5 months, and I was a little bit skeptical at the beginning, but I had been having a lot of neck pain, going to the chiropractor, getting massages regularly every month, and just nothing was helping. I also have had anxiety for as long as I can remember. Not too bad, but definitely noticeable. So I found out about holistic dentistry and found out about Dr. Liao and decided to come and meet with him. And through the photographs and just talking with him, I realized how my jaw was, my entire neck and jaw and everything was just off. And it wasn't as clear to me until after I saw the pictures of myself. So in 2 months, I've been wearing them when I go to bed at night, along with some rubber bands to pull my jaw forward. And definitely the anxiety has decreased. Also, my neck pain has gone to about almost nothing. I mean, I can turn my head up and down, side to side, and I don't feel any tension or tightness or pain anymore.
You don't have to run to the chiropractor's office.
No, I actually haven't been to the chiropractor.
Sorry. Okay.
Sorry, chiropractor. And the other thing that I noticed as I'm talking right now is when I was little, I had a lisp. And since wearing these, my tongue doesn't escape like it used to. When I say S, I can feel my front teeth coming together and the tongue stays inside, which is different than since I was a little girl.
Correct. Okay, and how about your daytime sleepiness?
Decreased.
Decreased.
Yeah, drastically decreased.
Right.
Anxiety's decreased.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing your experience.
Sure.
We have fun. I don't have patients coming back complaining. I got this pain. I got that sensitivity. I hate this. I don't want the shot. It's completely different. So, going forward, proactive personal care is the answer, not reactive care. You got to take care of yourself. You are what you eat, what you do, and what you believe. Okay? You can either go to the doctor to fight the fire and put it out, or you can prevent it from yourself by how you do that. Okay? The essential lifestyle includes these. Inform self-care, bring out the best of you. Avoid unpronounceable ingredients. And use essential oil. This is an essential oil toothpaste. It's got On Guard or thieves on it. For restful sleep, like people who have insomnia, just take this. It's all natural, plant-derived, and there are no side effects to this. You can you don't get this grogginess from taking anything. So make sure that you go to a doctor who knows how to diagnose all these functional spaces. It's the difference between two doctors and non-doctors. And it's not the two doctors' fault because dental school trained dentists only to be two doctors. the earth is no longer flat, however. So, you know, like we're going to move on and we're going to take charge of your whole body health by taking charge. Okay? So, snoring is not denied. Heavy snorer is defined as someone who snores more than half the time. Okay? If you snore more than half the time, you have twice the risk for a stroke. And I'll tell you that between cancer and stroke, I would choose cancer. That's a pretty drastic statement. Right? Why? Because with cancer, I have time. With stroke, you don't get to say goodbye. You don't get to finish the life you haven't lived. Okay? And if you have sleep apnea and obesity, you will have 8 times the risk if you're heavy. Here's what works.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Bruner, and I'm here to tell
What about
you the
finance?
difference that Dr. Liao has made in my husband's sleep habits and the rest of his life, actually, not just in his sleep habits. But I was particularly blessed to receive benefits from this because prior to having this procedure done,
This is the oral appliances that he's got to sleep with.
yes, before he had the oral appliances, his snoring was so loud that many nights I had to go into the other room to sleep. And now he's so quiet that sometimes I have to reach over to make sure he's still there.
Yeah. And I want to just mention, you know, this is about not only how long you live, but the quality of life you have. Okay? If you snore, you have twice the risk of getting diabetes. If you have diabetes, you have 31 times the risk of OSA-induced erectile dysfunction. I don't know about women, but for men, that's a serious drop in quality of life. Okay? By the time the man is referred to sleep test, 65% of them already have erectile dysfunction. Okay, here's a patient who came, Korean military. Notice that he already had a diastema, so we didn't cause that when you see it in later pictures. He complained of brain fog, groggy despite being on CPAP, erectile dysfunction, and aches and pains. And that's his airway. Again, this appliance, he made the changes in his mouth, and here's what he has to say.
Hi, I'm John, and I give Dr. Liao permission to use this for educational purposes. As you can see here, we've maxed out with the top, and we're getting a new one. And I've been treated with the appliance since October of 17, so that's
11 months or so.
yes, roughly 11 months. I got it early in October last year. And I wanted to report one benefit, which is it's had a beneficial erectile effect. Most notably, I wake up a lot at night with nocturnal erections, which is something that rarely, if ever, happened before I started using the device. But it happens frequently now, and sometimes multiple times in a night if I wake up multiple times. It's one of the benefits. I'm pleasantly surprised, and I wonder maybe if they're advertising the wrong things during football games.
Besides
No oxygen, no morning glory.
I can run with my mouth closed.
So, this is what aging means. Your ability to utilize oxygen goes down. Also, your nitric oxide goes down. Red is women, black is men. Black, the men's goes down earlier, but by the time you're 60 years old, you're basically both depleted. You're neuter. Okay? So, Oxygen is the dominant and vital regulator of nitric oxide activity. So is nasal breathing, okay? So, Lubashevsky in 2002 was the first to describe that OSA may be the primary cause of low testosterone through hypoxia and sleep fragmentation. We mentioned that all along in this lecture, okay? So I use this liquid oxygen on myself. So this is one thing you can think of trying. So on one Sunday morning, I woke up, and you can pass this around. I think I have this with me. And I just sprayed this up my nostril every 15 minutes. And my blood pressure went from 81, so when I woke up, 127 over 81 was my blood pressure, and my pulse was 79. So I gave myself a spray of this thing up my nose. This is just oxygen dissolving saline. And guess what? 15 minutes later, my blood pressure went from 81 to 72. No medication. And guess what my pulse rate did? 79 to 67. That means that my parasympathetics came up big time. Okay? And then I did the same thing again. So this is 1 hour later. My blood pressure went from 81 to 60. So this is after a good night's sleep. And this is what happens after a good night's sleep plus oxygen supplementation. Okay? So this is the product. You use oral appliance plus this. You have systemic oxygenation. That means your blood pressure goes way down. So this is a place where you can get it if you want. So last case, this is how you start treatment early. Okay? She looked tired at 8:17. She ground through her night guard. And you're grinding your teeth, you're not sleeping. That's why she's tired. She had finished braces 3 years before she came to me. It's a serious relapse because the orthodontists didn't consider this as a root cause.
Wow.
They just moved teeth around. Okay? So I gave her this appliance, told her to sleep with that during the hours of sleep, and her posture straightened up. I told her about nutrition. This is the most expensive egg I can find in Whole Foods. This is a backyard hen under the sunshine, picking out the worms from the grass. Okay? And guess what? Between those two, her anterior open bite closed on her own without braces. Okay? We widen the 3-foot cage. Right? So the tongue has space between the upper and lower jaws. Her posture straightened. You bring on the glove. Why? Because she can sleep, recharge. You triple her airway from 7.7 to 24 cc. Okay? And that's what she looks like in profile. And she got recruited and became a part-time model. So this would not work if you had given her a CPAP or given her another night guard. We developed her mid-face instead, opened up her airway so she could sleep. And the science in the stem cell activation involving all these cases is listed in chapter 16 on my first book. So the U-turn back, we covered this already. I hope you've had a productive time here. And I have some books left at the booth, so you're welcome to visit the booth at Devo's, and I'll be happy to sign some books for you. Thank you, and we try to get better. Okay. Any questions?
Where are you located?
I'm in Falls Church, Virginia. But here's Dr. Kristen. Stand up, please. Dr. Kristen is right here local. So any one of you who needs a airway, mouth doctor, this is your good fortune. She is also the team dentist